Story 1. Is my boyfriend trying to sabotage my grades, or am I being paranoid? I, 24 female, and doing my master's in data science, and it's a really hard subject for me. I will say I'm very studious and always strive to get good grades. If I do well in master's, I'll get a scholarship on my PhD. But lately, something has been happening that has made me suspicious of my boyfriend, Liam, 26 male. We have been dating for 5 years now. We met in college. Liam has no interest in higher studies and wants to do business, but he knows how important my studies are for me. So it started happening almost a few months ago. It was my midterms, and I am always on time. But that day, I woke up 15 minutes late. I swear, I did put the alarm right. I never miss it. But on that day, I missed it. Luckily, there was no harm done. But then again, I lost the report I was doing. I got a lot of flack because of that from my supervisor. I thought maybe I misplaced it. I found it inside the nightstand on Liam's side. When I asked about it, he made an excuse that I must have kept it. The thing is, I never touch his side of the nightstand unless I'm cleaning. Then one time, Liam arranged a family dinner night before an important presentation of mine. He knew not to disturb me during any of those exams and crucial times. I was angry with him. He told me I'm being selfish by only thinking about my grades in school and never focus on him. This is almost like a pattern. He would always have some big things planned before my quizzes or exams or project presentations. I remember in one instance where I wrote a code in my computer and saved it, only for it to have bugs as I was fixing it. I can tell someone deliberately tampered with my code. I knew Liam sometimes borrows my computer because his is old and mine has better performance. What happened last night confirmed my suspicion. There was a report I've been working on for 6 months. This is basically a journal I've been working on. Today, I had to show the first draft of it to my supervisor. I usually keep my computer on before going to sleep. It locks automatically. Late at night when I woke up, I saw Liam was doing something on my computer. I asked him what he was doing on my computer. His response was, "I was looking at corn." That was stupid and lame, and guess what? My entire report was deleted, and even the backup ones I had on my Google Drive was deleted. Luckily, I saved it on the cloud and pen drive too, but I'm feeling like he did it intentionally. I don't understand why he would do that. I did confront him, but it only made him angry, saying I'm accusing him without any proof, and that since I live under his roof, he should be allowed to use my stuff too. I'm concerned whether I'm being paranoid and sabotaging my relationship, or is he trying to sabotage my grades? It sounds like he's totally trying to sabotage your grades, or at the very, very least, he is not respective of your time, your goals, or even your stuff. Just because I have a phone and I live under someone's roof, that doesn't give that person the right to use my phone. No one touches my phone, man. I tell you that right now. Yeah, I think it's just time to break it off with him. He is not respective of you. He's just trying to sabotage you for some reason. And it's very obvious. What do you think? Story 2. No problem, Your Honor. My brother has struggled with a substance addiction for most of his life. About 5 years ago, it tore his family apart. His wife filed for divorce and was awarded full custody of their son. This is all right and proper, as my brother was in no condition to be a father at this time. The road to recovery has been long, but my brother has been working the program and has now been clean for several years. He has no formal custody of his son, though he gets visitation at his ex-wife's discretion. He's been a good and stable father to his son in the last years. However, his ex has not wanted to allow for the possibility that brother has become well. In fact, she's begun jerking him around with visitation, even planning on removing son from his father for a period of several months so she can take a long vacation with her new family. Brother, not willing to let this slide, immediately filed for joint custody. The court case was just a day ago, and as expected, his ex has badmouthed his former substance abuse and attempted to paint him as still an addict and a threat to their son. Again, he's totally not. Him being clean for years, employed, and owning his own home now? The ex was so self-deluded and confident that he had backslid that she loudly demanded in front of the judge that my brother provide a letter from the local president of the substance counseling program stating that he has attended every meeting for the last several years. My brother smiled at the judge and said, "Now, not only is that not a problem, Your Honor, but I can provide that documentation today." The judge asked how this is possible. Did the brother already think to bring it with him? "No, Your Honor, but you see, I am the president of our local chapter." I wish I could see the look on that hateful shrew's face. It's not official yet, but yeah, he's totally got joint custody. Oh, yeah. This was just not good judgment. I can imagine that she has feelings of anger and resentment for probably what this guy put her through while he was addicted. I can understand that, but you're involving the kid in this now, and it's just that point you just were really blinded by things. You were so blinded that you didn't see how well he was doing now, and now there's joint custody, and I'm glad that was something that was seen. And I'm glad that this person is doing really well to get themselves clean and sober and to be a good parent. Story 3. I am the queen of passive aggression. My hobby used to be making quilts from vintage cloth. I would buy the cloth, usually flower and feed print sacks from the 30s and 40s, at flea markets and antique stores. I pieced them by hand and sewed the squares together on my old treadle sewing machine. Then I would hand quilt the tops using vintage blankets as batting and older cotton thread. This took a lot of time, but the end results were beautiful and heirloom quality. Besides, it was a lot of fun. One year, I made such a quilt for my brother-in-law's birthday, husband's younger brother. He and his wife freaked out over it and thanked me profusely. 2 days later, my mother-in-law walked into my house without even knocking. Her reasoning was that it was her son's house and therefore her right to do so. I had been super busy all day and had just sat down on the living room floor to play Super Mario Kart with my boys. I was surprised to see her. She usually avoided me if my husband wasn't around. She snorted at me when she saw me on the floor and asked me if this is what I did all day, and then added that it must be nice to have so much free time. I have always worked from home. You'd be surprised at how many people think that this isn't a real job. Then she dumped a bunch of fabric swatches out of a bag onto my sofa. Before I could ask her what she was doing, she started telling me that she wanted a quilt like the one I made for brother-in-law, but she needed hers to be bigger and with these colors. Oh, and she wanted new cloth, not that old junk. She brought these swatches so I would know what to buy for her quilt. At first, I was too stunned to speak up. Then I was too angry to trust my mouth. My 2 boys never liked this woman, and they scrambled to their feet and ran out of the room. I envied them for this because I was stuck facing this cow alone. This woman had always been awful to me as she could. She had told my boys to their little faces that they were not her grandsons because they looked nothing like her son. She told her other grandkids this too, so we weren't singled out. She had told all of her 5 sons that she would only recognize her daughter's kids because she knew those were her grandkids. She only claimed the other grandkids as hers when she wanted to look good around other people. This woman had tried to fix my husband up with other women for 5 years after we were married. This woman, who had been trying to make me freak out for the past 18 years, was so entitled that she thought I should do all this work for her for free. So I looked through the swatches, asked for the dimensions she wanted as well as the block pattern, thought for a few moments, and then told her, yeah, I can do all that for about $5,000. I figured this was a large enough sum to freak her out and make her go away. If not, well, sure, I'll make her a quilt for that stupid amount. $5,000? But you just gave one to brother-in-law. That was a birthday present. Well, then, this can be my birthday present. I've never given you a birthday present. The only time I tried to, you handed it back unopened, and you told me that you only accepted gifts from family or friends, and that I was neither. $5,000, up front, or no quilt. Frowning and pressing her lips together, she gathered up her stupid swatches and left. I opened the door for her and held it so she couldn't slam it. She was a slammer. As I watched her drive away, I couldn't help but think about how much fun that had been. So for the rest of the year, my husband's other 3 brothers got quilts for their birthdays. Also, to add insult to injury, I made them out of the new cloth and not that old junk, as well as the colors and patterns my mother-in-law wanted, because I knew it would get back to her that I had done this. That crazy woman tried as hard as she could to guilt one of her sons into giving her their quilt. Nope, it didn't happen. 1993 was a fun year. It sounds like a lot of people related to this mother aren't really happy with her behavior either. And just the entitlement. She thinks she's some sort of matriarch of the family. She's not doing much to really lead. She's just demanding. And thankfully, no one's letting her get away with that, it seems.
Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day.
Story 4. Today I fracked up by enraging the parents of my girlfriend by pretending not to know what a potato is. Let me tell you that I have made a bad mistake this evening. My girlfriend, who, let me tell you, is only my second girlfriend of all time, said I am invited to dinner with her and her parents. I was very aghast, nervous, and bashful to be invited to such a situation, but I knew it must be done. I met them nicely, I should tell you, and it started off in a good way. The idea struck in my mind that I should do a comic bit to make a good impression and become known to them as a person who is amusing. When I saw that baked potatoes were served, I got the idea that it would be very good if I pretended I did not know what potatoes were. That would be funny. Well, let me tell you, backfired on my face. I'll tell you how. So first, when the potato came on my plate, I acted very interested. I showed an expression on my face so as to seem that I was confused, astounded, but in a restrained way, curious and interested. They did notice and seemed confused, but didn't remark. So I asked, "This looks very interesting. What is this?" They stared at me, and the mother said, "It's a baked potato." And I was saying, "Oh, interesting. Baked, what is it again?" And she was like, "A potato." And I was like, "A potato. Oh, interesting. Never heard of a potato. Looks pretty good." And then they didn't see I was clowning, but thought I really did not know what a potato is. So I knew I would be very shamed, humiliated, depressed, and disgusted if I admitted to making a bad joke. So what I did was to act as if it was not a joke, but I committed to the act of pretending I didn't know what a potato is. They asked me, very incredulous, did I really not know what a potato is? That I never heard of a potato? I went with it and told them, yes, I did not ever even hear of a potato. Not only had I never eaten a potato, I had never heard the word potato. They went on for a bit, and my girlfriend was acting very confused and embarrassed by my messed up antics. And then the more insistent I was about not knowing what a potato is, was when the parents started thinking I did know what a potato was. Well, let me tell you, I had to commit 100% at this point. When I would not admit to knowing what a potato was, the father especially began to get annoyed. At one point, he said something like, "Enough is enough. You're messing with us. Admit it." And I said, "Sir, before today, I never heard of a potato. I still don't know what a potato is, other than some kind of food. I don't know what to tell you." Well, let me tell you, he got very annoyed. I decided to take a bite of the potato, and when I did, I made a high-pitched noise like, "Ooh, tastes very strange." That is when the father started yelling at me, and the mother kept saying, "What are you doing?" And my girlfriend went to some other room. Finally, the father said I should get the hell out of his house, and I said it was irrational to treat me like this just because I've never heard of a potato before. And let me tell you, he didn't take to that kindly. Now in text messages, I've been telling my girlfriend I really don't know what a potato is. The only way I can ever get out of this is for them to buy that I don't know what a potato is. I wish I never started, but I can't go back. I think she'll break up with me anyway. Then, fess up. Part of comedy is being able to laugh at yourself. You're trying to make it a bit, and it's just impossible to get out of now. Fess up to it. Learn to laugh at yourself, because nobody's laughing at you at this point. It should have been the point when people stopped laughing and got annoyed that you should have pivoted or fessed up. And if it doesn't matter, if the girl's going to break up with you anyway, you might as well just fess up. You're probably never going to see them again after that, right? Story 5. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be an egg donor for my brother, even though I promised years ago? My brother, Jeff, 35 male, and I, 32 female, have had a great relationship. My brother is gay and was married to my dear friend Martin, 34 male, but they divorced 3 years ago. Jeff and Martin had known each other since kindergarten, became best friends, went to law school together, dated for around 15 years, and got married. Their dream was to become parents, but both wanted to be biologically related to the child, so they asked me to give them my egg, and I agreed since I loved both of them and wanted them happy. That was it. I never got tested or anything because they didn't want the child right away, but to make sure they had the donor and would just focus on the surrogate. For their wedding anniversary, Martin thought it was a great idea to renovate a beach house my parents had abandoned. Jeff thought it was a waste of money and time, but went along with it. And they contacted Ian, 35 male, an architect and contractor. By the way, I recommended because he had done some work for my mother-in-law. Some months into the project, the man who thought it was a waste of time and was so into architecture and the project itself, long story short, before getting the work done, Jeff dumped Martin and got together with Ian. My brother and Martin's divorce was so fast since Martin was devastated and didn't fight much. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, Jeff and Ian got married. Yes, 3 months. My family acted as if nothing happened and welcomed the homewrecker with open arms. My brother can do no wrong in my mom's eyes. It's been 3 years. Martin is still devastated. He has many issues, and Jeff and Ian act like they hurt no one. They've even started investing in real estate. I love my brother, but I try to keep my distance, and I've only exchanged like 2 words with Ian in these 3 years, 3 words at most, because I love Martin, and he's a friend. My brother approached me a couple of weeks ago and telling me that he and his hubby were ready to start a family and wanted me to get tested, but I said, My promise was no longer valid since he decided to cheat, and I didn't feel comfortable giving my egg, and this has turned into a more personal matter, something that doesn't jibe with my morals. He said it's not fair and that this means so much for him, and also told me I can't break a promise I made. My family, even my husband, is telling me that I made a promise and this is important for them, but I don't know. I don't want to do this to Martin. I mean, this was supposed to be his child. Yeah, you made a promise to two people. One of them broke up with the other, dumped the other person and brought this other person in, and now they want in on it? No, the deal has changed. They have changed their end of the bargain. There's no reason for you to keep your end of the bargain. I couldn't imagine the conversation. Jeff just telling him, oh, I already have a womb ready and waiting, and just to bring this person in? No. It's her body. She can do what she wants with it. Everyone else is being really being bad about this. I'm sorry, the word is escaping me at the moment. Nonchalant. That's the word I was looking for.
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.